Imagine yourself standing at the entrance of an ancient tomb, hermetically sealed for 3,000 years. Dust and darkness surround you, and the air is filled with mystery. You are about to uncover the secrets of one of the most powerful and legendary kings in history, King Solomon. His tomb was a place of legends, lost in time and debated for centuries. As archaeologists prepared to enter, a feeling of awe and fear filled the air. He was famous for possessing wisdom beyond his years, for building a temple that captivated Jerusalem, and for stories of wealth that defied understanding. His life and legacy were almost too grand to believe, and now, finally, after millennia, his final resting place was before them. The initial shock came as they looked around, surrounded by strange symbols and writings. Some seemed familiar, resembling ancient Hebrew, while others were completely foreign writings and symbols no one could place. It was almost as if Solomon had left these symbols as a puzzle, a warning to anyone who dared disturb his peace. Something about it made the hair on their arms stand up. Perhaps it was the realization that no one else had set foot there for thousands of years, or perhaps it was the hint of a secret lurking in every corner. The room contained objects that seemed grand and mystical, as if Solomon had carefully chosen each of them to hide with him. As they took their first steps toward the tomb, they could not help but feel the weight of Solomon's legend. People said his treasures were limitless and that his knowledge transcended human understanding. But there were rumors, dark whispers that he had secrets beyond wisdom and wealth. Some said he possessed a magical ring, the Seal of Solomon, which allowed him to control supernatural beings and communicate with animals. Stories even claimed he knew spells and rituals that could unlock the secrets of the heavens. Then their lights caught the gleam of gold, a crown resting on what seemed to be a perfectly preserved skeleton. The sapphires and rubies embedded in the crown continued to shine despite the years. Beside the crown was a delicately carved scepter, engraved with symbols suggesting both power and protection. As they contemplated the scene, one detail stood out: a scroll tightly bound with a strange seal lay beside Solomon. As the archaeologists carefully approached, they saw that the writing on the seal was unfamiliar, but it seemed to radiate an energy that left them astonished. The scroll itself was ancient, its paper fragile, yet it remained preserved as if it contained an eternal truth. They wanted to open it to reveal its secrets, but something stopped them. These archaeologists had come in search of history but found themselves in the middle of a myth. This was not just about his life, it was about his power, his magic, and his fear of what might happen if certain knowledge fell into the wrong hands. They knew that breaking the seal and reading the scroll might reveal wisdom beyond imagination, but it could also unleash consequences for which they were unprepared. Israeli archaeologist Dr. Ilad Mazar began excavating an area near the city of David on the outskirts of Jerusalem's Old City. While her team initially searched for remains of Solomon's father, King David, what they discovered was something much more mysterious and overwhelming. They uncovered ancient walls and stone structures, monuments dating precisely to the 10th century BCE, the era of Solomon. Their excitement grew as evidence mounted: fragments of pottery, inscriptions in ancient Hebrew, and artifacts belonging to royal officials. Dr. Mazar recognized the possible connection between this site and King Solomon. Perhaps they were getting closer to his final resting place. The findings around the tomb indicated a grandeur fitting for a king of Solomon's status, fueling excitement and speculation across the archaeological world. But there was something unsettling about the place, as if the tomb was intentionally hidden and protected. The site contained strange relics that intensified the mystery. Among them were over 30 ancient clay seals that once marked official documents. These seals bore inscriptions that historians believe belonged to members of Solomon's court, possibly his closest advisors. They found a massive entrance gate nearby, an impressive structure suggesting that Solomon might have designed the entire complex. Other artifacts included ceramic vessels with Hebrew symbols inscribed, suggesting the items were used by Solomon's highest-ranking officials, and small statues and symbols from that era depicting what appeared to be fertility icons and guardian figures. As the artifacts accumulated, the archaeologists began to feel the weight of their discovery, but the deeper they delved, the stranger the findings became. Among Solomon's belongings were ancient tablets with symbols and writings lost to history. There were rumors that these inscriptions contained information Solomon did not want the world to see, perhaps knowledge considered too powerful or too dangerous. For generations, people speculated that Solomon's tomb lay somewhere near Jerusalem's Temple Mount, perhaps buried beneath layers of history and ruins. The Bible recounts that Solomon was the mastermind behind the first temple in Jerusalem, a temple so magnificent that it was said to have been built with the help of spirits and magical knowledge. It stood as a symbol of divine wisdom and power, covered in gold and encrusted with precious stones, a sight that left visitors in awe. People believed that Solomon's tomb was nearby, hidden in plain sight among myths and stories passed down about its location. The chilling part of Dr. Mazar's findings was the possible presence of curses or protections embedded in the architecture of the tomb. Some believe that ancient kings feared tomb raiders, and stories are told of deadly traps and spells placed around burial sites to protect the dead. Archaeologists wondered if they were tampering with forces beyond their understanding, as ancient inscriptions hinted at warnings to those who dared disturb the deceased. Historians soon realized that Dr. Mazar's discoveries matched the biblical description of Solomon as a powerful and ingenious king who did not hesitate to protect his knowledge with traps or spells. The artifacts found at the site confirmed that Solomon's era was more advanced than previously thought, revealing sophisticated trade connections, written records, and signs of an organized monarchy that ruled with a firm and strategic hand. Solomon's rule extended from the palace to the temple, through the laws he enacted, and even through the mystical artifacts buried with him. Some of the ceramic vessels bore strange symbols, possibly related to ancient rituals. The figurines found among the relics hinted at connections with guardian and fertility deities, symbols that contradicted Solomon's image as a strictly religious ruler. Scholars wondered if these symbols pointed to occult practices, beliefs Solomon did not publicly tolerate, or even secrets he took to the grave to keep hidden from his people. However, the most unsettling element of the excavation was an inscription on a scroll found near Solomon's crown. It bore a symbol unknown to the archaeologists, a form that seemed almost out of place, as if it belonged to another world. The archaeologists hesitated to open the scroll due to its age and fragility, fearing the potential contents it held. Yet the idea of the knowledge it might contain, perhaps secrets about Solomon's reign or the wisdom he was said to possess, was irresistible. The inscriptions found hinted that Solomon had secrets about other ancient cultures and distant kingdoms, an understanding that went beyond the borders of his own realm. What if the world were to discover these secrets? The idea that Solomon's tomb could reveal knowledge capable of reshaping everything we believed about history was as exciting as it was terrifying. With each passing day, Dr. Mazar and her team felt the weight of the mystery pressing upon them. What had begun as a historical excavation took on a darker and more intense tone. They found themselves on the edge of an ancient secret, one that might have been hidden for a reason. For now, the depths of the tomb remained unexplored, but the shadows of Solomon's secrets lingered around them. The contents of the tomb raised fascinating questions about the knowledge and technology available during Solomon's reign. People often depict Solomon as a wise king who built impressive structures and cultivated a prosperous and far-reaching kingdom. One of the highlights of his reign was the construction of the first temple of Jerusalem, a monumental feat requiring architectural techniques uncommon for that period. The carvings and architectural designs found near the tomb, particularly around the entrance gate, hinted at construction skills far ahead of their time. If the tomb contained blueprints, manuscripts, or tools from this era, it could offer insights into early engineering methods and mathematical understanding. Such a discovery could reshape our understanding of ancient technology and demonstrate that civilizations. Imagine yourself standing at the entrance of an ancient tomb, hermetically sealed for 3,000 years. Dust and darkness surround you, and the air is filled with mystery. You are about to uncover the secrets of one of the most powerful and legendary kings in history, King Solomon. His tomb was a place of legends, lost in time and debated for centuries. Ancient builders like Solomon's were far more advanced than previously believed, with abilities to construct structures rivaling those of later empires. These revelations might affect current historical timelines and force us to acknowledge that ancient builders possessed advanced knowledge long before the rise of Greece or Rome. One prediction that has intrigued and, in some cases, terrified scholars is the idea that a curse protects Solomon's tomb. Ancient rulers often went to great lengths to protect their burial sites from thieves and intruders. Egyptian pharaohs, for example, inscribed curses on the walls of their tombs to deter robbers. Given Solomon's wisdom and rumored magical abilities, it is not far-fetched to imagine that he might have placed similar protections over his final resting place. Some archaeologists and historians fear that disturbing Solomon's tomb could unleash an ancient curse, whether symbolic or real. While this may seem fantastical, Many cultures have stories of disturbed spirits or curses placed on sacred sites. Could Solomon's wisdom have enabled him to create protections that endured for thousands of years? These predictions may be a mix of superstition and respect, but they also reflect a deeper understanding that ancient practices often carried significant weight, even if not fully understood. In an era when supernatural beliefs dominated the minds of many, Solomon's tomb may have remained untouched out of respect or perhaps fear by those who believed it was guarded by forces beyond comprehension. If these ancient protections are real, disturbing them could have consequences we cannot foresee, reviving old fears in the modern world. Solomon's legacy extends beyond spiritual and mystical beliefs. It also holds a significant place in the political and cultural history of Jerusalem. The first temple that Solomon built remains a cornerstone of Jewish identity, and its construction represents a unifying period in Israel's early history. Finding Solomon's tomb could strengthen the historical ties between modern Israel and ancient biblical narratives, creating a bridge that validates deeply rooted cultural beliefs. Such discoveries could also shift the political landscape, supporting claims to certain historical sites. New artifacts or structures deeply connected to territorial rights in a region could serve as powerful symbols in ongoing debates over land and religious identity. The city of David, near where the tomb was found, is already a highly sensitive area managed by both Israeli and Palestinian authorities. Discovering a definitive link to King Solomon could spark increased interest, tourism, and even new tensions over the control and preservation of these sacred spaces. While it is easy to focus on the potential cultural benefits of this discovery, the outcomes could also include a struggle to maintain the site's historical integrity. If Solomon's tomb truly validates biblical accounts, it could influence how religious and political leaders interpret and interact with the past, potentially intensifying debates over ancient territorial claims. If ancient scrolls or artifacts within Solomon's tomb truly record his wisdom, we may only be beginning to explore the full extent of his legacy. The idea that his writings might contain philosophies, laws, or spiritual practices lost to time is both thrilling and terrifying. There is a delicate balance between curiosity and caution when it comes to knowledge hidden for thousands of years. Solomon's wisdom may have helped him govern his kingdom, but it might also have included warnings or teachings that, if discovered, could challenge modern interpretations of history and spirituality. If you feel captivated by these mysteries of King Solomon, consider hitting that super thanks button. By supporting this exploration, you help us delve deeper, uncovering the secrets of ancient worlds and revealing stories that shape our understanding of history. Some scholars worry that misinterpreting Solomon's knowledge could lead to misunderstandings or even a spiritual backlash. In ancient cultures, knowledge was not just information, it was power, revered and respected as a divine gift. If Solomon's tomb is a repository of forgotten knowledge, there is fear that revealing it could disturb not only the tomb itself but also the spiritual fabric surrounding it. Discoveries around Solomon's tomb are far more than historical curiosities. They touch on issues of science, politics, spirituality, and even the supernatural. These findings have the potential to validate ancient texts, influence modern politics, and reveal secrets that could transform our understanding of ancient wisdom and technology. Solomon's wisdom was not merely intelligence or insight, it represented a profound awareness of the power of knowledge itself. He understood that some truths, once uncovered, carry consequences, and that some ideas could be dangerous in the wrong hands. The careful concealment of his tomb and its treasures reflects this perspective. Ancient kings and rulers often guarded their legacies with protective symbols, not out of vanity but out of a sense of duty to safeguard what might harm or disrupt future generations. Solomon's tomb serves as a poignant example. It may be filled with treasures and teachings, but they are locked away, almost as if Solomon himself wanted them to be approached with humility and reverence. Thank you for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.